These aren't kids. They're relentless eating machines. It's episode 21 of In Real Life. Okay, mamas, I know it's a cliche about how kids can eat so much when they're growing, and frankly, I always felt kind of left out of that whole thing, because Griffin's appetite has always been kind of so-so. I mean, he can take food or leave it. He doesn't really care, and he's naturally skinny like Papa Natural. But something has changed. The last 2 or 3 weeks, this kid seriously has a bottomless pit in his belly. For example, for breakfast, he'll have like 2 huge bowls of oatmeal, and then an hour later, he's like, Mom, I'm hungry. What can I eat? Just this morning, he had 4 plums after breakfast. It's like, okay. On a car ride, he'll whip down 2 cheese sticks like it's a glass of water or something. And the biggest thing is before nap time and bedtime, normally we make him this yogurt drink, okay? It's raw yogurt, and I add whole stevia extract, and he drinks it down. It's like kind of a liquid form because it's raw. And he has a hard time just getting one of those bottles down because it's very rich and creamy. But lately, he has no problem getting 1 down. He'll get 2 down. The other day, he drank 3 before bedtime. I'm like, this is crazy. So much so that when we go to bed, we actually wake him up and have him go to the bathroom because that's a lot of liquid for his little bladder. And then Paloma is kind of following suit. The other day I was chopping up, she's just loving the summer fruit. So the other day I was chopping up some nectarine, gave it to her. I went into the kitchen to do something, come back, all I see is this big peel on her chin. I'm like, what's going on? Where's the nectarine? Oh, it's already in her gullet. I mean, this girl just, chomps it down, peels the skin, the skin off herself. I'm like, you gotta love this. And I do love it because it's so great to see my kids growing and thriving. And as a natural mama, I love that it's healthy food they're eating.
Yummy. So today, there's some big flowers grown in there. There's some cucumbers, fruit there. And the last time I saw a great big tomato was, see that big great one in there? And here's a couple small tomatoes. One is right here. So come on over here, some squash. Where's that big, huge one? See that one deep in there, and there's another squash. Here's some more kale that Daddy watered the other day.
Do you like to eat kale?
No, I don't like that kale much. What would it have?
Ooh, let's see.
It's a tomato. It's ready to eat.
You gonna eat it?
Yeah. It's yummy.
About a year ago, my brother started doing stand-up comedy, which I think is incredibly courageous. I mean, to stand in front of strangers and tell these jokes and hope to God that they actually laugh at them. I mean, that's just brutal, I think, in terms of putting yourself in that situation. But I'm super proud of him, and he's funny. So he was actually just in town for the 4th of July, and he found this local bar where my parents lived that had an open mic night. So he's like, hey, I think I'm going to go and do some stand-up. Do you want to come and see me? So God totally orchestrated it because the time he was speaking, I'm like, oh, I don't think it's going to work because of the bedtimes and this and that. But it just all worked out. Like we were all on a goofy schedule and it actually worked in our advantage. I drove out there and it was me, my dad, and my brother just sitting in this, I mean, this is like such a dive bar. This is like just seedy, dark, kind of like a hole in a wall type of bar, okay? Not really my favorite place to spend an evening. Let's just put that out there. In fact, even before I got natural and all that, I hated going to bars because any place that you're sitting just drinking, that was in the day when people used to smoke, it's dark, and it's like a beautiful day outside. I'm like, what is the point of going to these places? I just always hated it. So anyways, my brother finally goes on stage. He does his little spiel. I thought it was funny. I mean, there were some jokes that were super funny. Some of them, I don't think the audience really got. There was one guy that was a little bit intoxicated. He kept interrupting my brother, but it all, went well, and he handled it fine. But anyways, afterwards, it was amazing to me how many people came up to my brother and just were like, you know what, that took a lot of, I'm not going to say the word that they said, but you can guess, to do what you just did. Hey man, that was pretty good. Like all these guys, it was all these guys coming up to my brother, and just to see them like try to be like encouraging, it was seriously a tender moment. All I have to say is I cannot remember the last time I felt such a presence of God in the middle of a bar. And it was just so cool. So I'm super grateful just for the whole experience. And just to realize that God speaks through all sorts of people in all sorts of places, and you never know when you'll just be touched. Speaking of kids and feeding, we have a fantastic post up right now, all on baby-led weaning. Everything you want to know. How safe is it? How do you prevent them from choking? What kind of food should you feed them? So if you haven't heard of this practice, it is huge in the crunchy world, and the whole idea is instead of making purees or mashes for your baby to feed to them as their first foods, you cut bigger pieces of food for your child and they feed themselves. So it's really cool. Be sure to check it out. Link in the video description below. Also, we have a fun quiz up, another one, and it's all around breastfeeding. Do you think you know a lot about this practice? Well, find out what your breastfeeding IQ really is. Link again in the video description below. How about you? Are your kids remorseless eating machines? I would love to hear if it was just a phase or if it's stayed like that and it's your new normal. Share with me in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. This helps us spread the word and reach more natural mamas. Just so you know, we do 2 videos a week. On Tuesdays, it's usually some kind of natural living tip or trick, and on Thursdays, it's always the IRL show. So be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of these videos, and we'll catch you next time.